Good morning, good morning. Highway 50 eastbound and down. We are south of Ely, Nevada. Out here in the wide open, well, we're not in the wide open spaces. We'll be there up in the valley over here in front of us. The Humboldt National Forest is where we are right at the moment. Some good scenery, so I had to fire up the camera. Another beautiful day in the neighborhood, a balmy 33 degrees. We have a light load, that one we picked up at UPS for Kaiser Permanente. I have no idea what it is. Bunch of different stuff. The boxes I did see say made in China. Not good. And if old Biden gets in there, you can just kiss America goodbye. They're going to give it to, they're going to sell it to China. Right up here, we turn right, but we won't. If you turn right, you end up over at Love's truck stop at exit 64 in North Las Vegas, Nevada. Careless off-roading sparks fires. Majors Junction. Oh, that little squirrel. Oh. Chipmunk or whatever it is, he's still alive. He stopped right at that yellow line and he didn't move again. I'll get this truck in the Mexican overdrive and we'll just fly like the wind. Pioche and Las Vegas, turn right on 93. She is in full Mexican overdrive at the moment. Fly like the wind. So I had an interesting thing happen last night. I rolled the driver's window down. A little bit of fresh air in, and wouldn't go back up. I was tired, it was late. I checked the fuse, and somehow I did it wrong. I read it wrong. And I kept putting the fuse, it's a 20 amp or 25 amp fuse in the radio slot, which is, I thought, kind of big. It was blown. I go to put another one in there. It kept blowing them. Only had a couple, so I gave up on that, and I'm like, well, I'll deal with this in the morning. So I was thinking that the window slot was the radio slot. It wasn't. Anyway, I sleep with my curtains across the front of the windshield, across both passenger driver door. So I was in Ely. Wasn't really worried about anything. Excuse me. So I secured the curtain It's pretty thick. Like a vinyl with that nylon netting on the other side of it. Secured it to the door, the open part. And it was fine. I woke up just fine. My heater pretty much ran all night. It's a Wabash heater with the engine off. It burns diesel from the tank and produces heat in the cab. It'll bake you right out if you don't get the settings dialed in. Temperature setting. So I woke up and I thought I was going to have to use a paper clip and stick it in there just enough to hopefully get it to go up and not turn the paper clip or start a fire somewhere, you know. And once I was awake, wide awake, I looked at the fuse panel again, and I'm like, oh, what a moron. Actually, more off. It's better to be more on than more off. Anyway, it was a 20 amp fuse in slot F13, and I was in F4. It was right below it. I think that's where I messed up last night. Hard to see. Anyway, I pulled that fuse out, and I'm like, it looks good, but there's a little tiny bit of a mark at the center of the fuse hoop inside the fuse itself. So I grabbed another 20, put it in there, voila. My windows are working again. I'm like, I could have fixed that so easy last night if I wasn't so tired and just paid a little bit more attention. But anyway, we got it all fixed up because I was not going to be happy driving like this. Window down all the way back to Denver. And I could slide my curtain pretty far up. I was cruising one time. The sun was just beating on the driver's door. I slid my curtain pretty far up. I couldn't see my mirror. And the guy gets on the radio. Geez, quality, you better pull that curtain back. You can't see a dang thing. I go, I have a fender mirror. I saw you right there. Whenever I need to change lanes, I'll pull the curtain back a little bit, look, see, and go from there. But any other time, I just look at that fender mirror. I got a pretty good shot of who's right next to me. You just hold your steering wheel and mind your own business. I was going to come out last night. I had enough time. I had like an hour and I think 10 minutes. And I don't like to shut down that early. But I needed the internet, and I don't remember, it's right on the border of Utah and Nevada. There's a little hotel, casino, store, / everything right there on the border. I'll show you when we get there. Anyway, I think it has 4G. When you drive by it, it doesn't say anything. But once you park, your phone sort of settles in and grabs a hold of the signal. I think. I couldn't remember. I had some internet stuff to do last night. So, and that's what I was doing. It kind of got hot, so I wanted to let a little bit of air in. I was about ready to go to bed, and it wouldn't go back up. I wouldn't do it. Anyway, so we just decided to stay in Ely last night. beautiful out here. Most of the other times that I've done Highway 50, it has been west of Ely, between Ely and Fallon, Nevada. I don't know if I've done too much in this area east of Ely, between Delta, Utah and Ely, Nevada. It was nice. There was I couldn't make Ely because of that stupid half-hour break. It just didn't work out right for me. So I had to stop at one of my marked spots with the 4G internet, and I stopped there and did the half-hour break. It's totally stupid. I mean, I wish they'd just get rid of that thing, but you know, a driver takes a break when he needs one. I could have driven straight to. I needed another. I had 27 minutes left before it went down to 0, and I needed an hour and 10 minutes, I think. Anyway, so I shut down, and it was pretty. I mean, it was cool because there was all cool stars out last night, and no light pollution whatsoever, other than from the truck. I turned that off. So it's kind of neat to stargaze a little bit. I just hate that it's forced. Not stargazing, but forced to stop the wheels. It's like, I'm almost there, just let me finish and get there. But that's big government putting their nose in something they know nothing about. Make regulations, control us. It's like they get drunk on that power of control. Oh, I like it when I can tell people what to do and they do it. Like all the Democrats, and why is it the Democrats? I mean, both parties are kind of jacked, but why is it the Democrats have this what am I trying to say? You know, they're telling you what to do, how to do it, when to do it, what you can and can't do. They're letting, like up in Oregon, they'll let prisoners out because of COVID. You know, a guy is a 5-time DUI or whatever, armed robbery. They let them guys out of jail because of COVID. But yet they're going to throw you in jail because you had 11 people at your dinner for Thanksgiving. Like, what the heck is going on? I don't really understand it. They embrace the absurd and the backwardsness. You know, I was playing poker with my bulls from Mexico, and we started dealing counterclockwise, and I'm like, whoa, you deal like this, and they're like, no, this is how we deal. And I'm like, well, I don't know if it's you guys that are backwards or if it's me that's backwards in the rest of the United States. 'Cause that's how we play over here. You guys play over there. It's just backwards. I go, look how the clock goes. You just follow the clock. You guys are going against the grain, but whatever. I'll play however you want to play. We got through that, of course. But it was just, you know, the absurdity of them, and they get drunk on that power. It's like de Blasio and Cuomo. Oh my God, you know, that guy killed a lot of people by putting COVID patients in the nursing home, the most vulnerable population. And he gets an Emmy for it. I don't know what he got an Emmy for, I don't care. But we just enjoy telling you what you can and can't do. It doesn't even affect children. My daughter got COVID. I got COVID. My granddaughter never, she's 5 years old, Mila, never had a symptom. And I still can't fathom that. Like, how is it they're not and we are? Anyway. And they really have this thing about power. You know, I know this election was stolen. I hope that it gets sorted out, and the actual winner, whether it be Biden or Trump, if you actually won, then they're the ones that should be in office. But I know Trump won, and I tell you, I feel that if Biden does get in there, I don't think I'll ever vote again, because it doesn't count. You know, when people would say, "Oh, your vote doesn't count," well, it does. But in the grand scheme of things, if they're going to cheat and get away with it, then your vote really doesn't count. You know, I can't believe people would give up more of their freedom and give up more and want more government regulation and go into socialism, which has been tried and tried and tried again and failed every time. That they would want that. I know there's people that do want that, and I wish they would move to Cuba, Venezuela, or even China. Go on and get. They should just go up and say, "Hey, what do you think of America?" And when they curse it, grab them and ship them. Grab them right there and ship them. That's what you call the enemy within. There's a guy up here who does, here he is right here. Look at his antler archway right here. Wild game processing. Antler chandeliers. So I've been on this highway too many times. No, I love this highway. You know, these guys could come out at night naked and sing, and nobody's going to hear them. I saw this thing, it was a video, but I didn't actually watch it. The students are all for socialism until it is used in the grading system, and they were like, no way, no way. It was like, what do you mean? You want socialism, but here's how it works. In the grading system, it'd be the same thing. You spent all week or all month studying for this test, and you aced it. And the other guy spent all month partying, running out to the beaches and chasing women and getting drunk and didn't study a lick. Now you give him half of your grade. And instead of getting your A, you guys both, you get a C. They dropped it hotter than a pancake, a hot potato. Oh, look at the clouds right there on the, right there at the highway summit. Sacramento Pass, 7154. We are close to the border. So these trucks by themselves go into Mexican Overdrive. Even with cruise control on. Lane departure warning. I hate that thing. I'm literally wearing a mark out on the switch where you turn it off for 10 seconds. I think it's 10 minutes. It's either 5 or 10 minutes. I don't know. A little fast. For those that don't know, overdrive, Mexican overdrive, is neutral. Some of you people have heard me say that. Maybe you didn't know. You figured it out on your own, but yep, that's what it is. The truck goes into neutral. And then the gravity feed pulls you faster. Hence, overdrive. It is Mexican because it's just the way it is. A Mexican told me that, since I'm half Mexican. Only I'm not actually blood, but was brought up in that culture. Yo, eso era mexicano. Humboldt National Forest access. Another big valley coming up. Good coffee. I got the bean to cup at Love's. At the Love's truck stop. I don't spend the night there. Like everybody parks at that Love's truck stop in Ely, Nevada. There's no room left. People, they're parking on the street. They're all jammed right there. And then half a mile south is a truck stop that has twice as much parking as the Love's. Now granted, the Love's is on asphalt and the other one is on dirt. But who cares? It's parking. And we got there last night. There was 3 of us in the whole lot. So I just roll over there in the morning to get me a cup of coffee. I can make my own, but I was to get a bigger cup with a bean to cup. So that's how we rolled today. Zip over to the border town. I'll show you that right now, right here. Boom, there it is. That is like right on the border. Like most Nevada towns, or I should say highways, there'll be some type of gambling establishment right on the line. So I think I looked at my phone and there is some internet here. So I think, yeah, that 4G does pop up once you settle down. At least their fuel prices are reasonable and not like, if it was California, it'd be $6. Welcome to Utah. Delta 88 miles, Hinkley. Coming into Mountain Time Zone, we just lost an hour. No biggie, I pretty much run off mountain all the time. Garrison, Gandy, Delta. Gandy to the left, Garrison to the right. Delta straight ahead. So, okay, Hinkley is 82 miles. Mile 1. Since we are eastbound, when you come into a state, and you're at the west end of a state, doesn't matter which one it is, highway starts low number. So we're starting at 1 here. And then the east end of the state, like in Colorado on Interstate 70, it starts off of the 15 and goes to mile marker, I think 232. It's actually like 231 and a quarter, or 231 and a half, something like that. So your high number on each state will be east. Low number will be west. And the same for northbound highways. Low number would be in the south, high number would be in the north. So highways start from south to the north and west to the east. Numerically speaking, anyway. So if you say you're at mile marker 2 on Interstate 70 in Utah, 2 miles east of Interstate 15. The same thing with the highways. Highway 1 is California coast. Highway 95 is the East Coast. Interstate 10 is down there in California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and further. I think it goes to Florida. 20, 30, 40, 70, 80, 90 to the top of the north. Odd numbers go north and south. Even numbers go east and west. So, starting at the west coast, Interstate 1, Interstate 5, Interstate 15, Interstate 25, 35, so on all the way to 95. So if you're on Interstate 76, it's going to be north of Interstate 70, and it's going to be going, since it's an even number, it'll be going east and west. So if you're on Highway 285, which is kind of east and west, kind of, in parts, but because it's odd, it's actually a north and south highway. Kicked up the temperature a bit, 37 degrees. Nice. We were leaving Ely, there was a sign that said, report persons shooting from highway. Be a hall monitor. I'm telling. Those Democrat governors are like, you tell on these people. If you see people doing that, you tell them so we can arrest them for eating food at Thanksgiving. Let that carjacker and that armed robber out and put in this Thanksgiving violator. Unbelievably bad. So my fuel gauge has sort of been messing up on me. I'll get low and it say I have like 10 gallons. So I put in 50 in Grand Junction to get me to Denver. And it'll say 80 gallons. What? I only put in 50. I had 10. And then I'm like, oh, I got enough to get to Pueblo and then back to Denver from Grand Junction. So I, via Highway 50, which is what we're on. And I get to Pueblo and I have 6 gallons left. And I'm like, man, I knew I had enough. Anyway, I head north 100 miles, 110 roughly. and I get over there by Colorado Springs. 0, 0, 0. I have no gas, no fuel left. And then I get to our yard and I fill up. And if I've been running on 0, 0 for a while, I'm going to put like 245 gallons in. 250. And I put like 220. So when it gets low, it's scary too. It kind of messes with you. You're out of fuel. The gauge says you're out of fuel. The warning light comes on, says you're low fuel. But you have a lot more in there, like an extra 20 gallons. That's roughly... They say when you hit 0, 0, you go 100 miles. And then with another 20 gallons, there's another 100 miles. So it's basically 200 miles on 0, 0. Yeah. Tell me that's not scary. But you could go, apparently. I don't know. I'm still sticking with it is what it is. It says what it says. And I've been narrowing it down to about an extra 20 that's not showing pretty consistently now. So I still run what it says. But I know in the back of my mind I've got an extra 20 in there. We have a tractor trailer creeping up on us and behind us. He's running pretty good. We might lose him in the hills here. He's a tanker. I'd hate to let him get ahead of me and then get up in the hills and have him going slow. They do great on flat, level ground if you're loaded, but when you hit these hills, so we're light. We only have 8,000 pounds on it. I think we'll get to the hills before he catches up with us. Excuse me. I don't have a problem letting him get around, but I would have a problem being stuck behind him in the hills. So we should make Denver tonight. 670 miles from Ely to Denver. This load delivers tomorrow. I'll have to look and see exactly when. What I'll do is I'll talk to my dispatch and say, hey, look, I'll be in there tonight. Do I stay on the load, or you want to give it to a local guy and send me back out? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Let's zip up to that highway that launches in the sky ahead of us. Oh, that was nice and quick. little bit of a hill. That truck is falling away from us. I mean, he's pretty heavy. Nice little turnout spot. Mile marker 20. 20 miles from the border. What would that be? 30 kilometers, hopefully. Kilometers will be 6 miles. 6 times 3 is 18. Maybe 32 kilometers. Well, that truck's not doing too terribly bad behind us. Did stop progressing forward. What have we here? You're gonna do a one-lane road with a flag man. Yep, one-lane road ahead with a flagger. Not operating. Summit 6280. So I was talking to the FAA guy yesterday, and I go, it's probably a weird question. I go, but that, because like you can fly an ultralight without a license, but it has to be a certain amount of weight. If there's another seat though, or you have any passengers, you have to be licensed. So I asked him, I go, if I take this test in Part 107, will I be able to fly a numbered aircraft, ultralight? No, that's a sport license. Okay. But I don't know, I might look into getting a little ultralight. I talked to my son though, because I don't have nowhere to put it. He's got 40 acres now. .34 degrees. It's a little windy in here, so we'll bring our speed down. A little windy. You got a highway that does 65, 70, and it drops down to 35. You know it's windy. Oops, wrong switch. Or the J, not the wipers. Still 35. Motel. Graffiti. A no-tell motel. Kick it up. I'd like to take the Jeep and spend a week driving up there in the middle of nowhere, camping and exploring. Be cool. This video is getting kind of long, so we'll end it right here on the straight and narrow. We go around a bend over there, and then we started coming into populated areas. Hinckley and Delta, basically one. I'll show you a snippet of it here in a bit. Thanks again for riding shotgun with Mountain Man Mike. Until the next time, enjoy. Peace. See ya. I don't look like it, but we are coming back into civilization. See ya.